welcome tonight to Branching Out, such an important night to celebrate the Keys Ingredients, all they've accomplished and all that's yet to come. My name is Jill Donohue, and I would like to take a few moments to tell you a little bit about my story and why I'm so grateful for the Keys Ingredients and Michelle, her friendship and her support. In 2012, my husband and Dr. Keys met as they explored some shared business interests in a wellness-based chiropractic model. My husband actually was visiting the Keys when he called me, said, "I got somebody you gotta meet." So when Kevin came to Pennsylvania for a conference the following year, he brought Michelle up with him. And while the guys were at their seminar, we took some long walks through our small town. We did a little shopping and learned a little about one another. We talked about our backgrounds, and I learned about her family's story and her passion for nourishing ingredients. At one point, we came to a small tasting room for olive oils and vinegars. That's where Michelle's Sicilian roots really started to shine through. So I quietly stood in the corner and watched. Michelle chatted with the store owner, tasting all the various oils, commenting on whether they were grassy or earthy, ranging from a muted gold color to a lime green. And at one point, once she'd found her favorite, she called me over. "Jill, you gotta try this. We're doing shots." So we raised our tiny cups and had a toast. Her eyes lit with joy. And I thought, gosh, this is somebody to watch. Our friendship grew, and I learned so much about cooking from Michelle, about the importance of whole foods. Because of our personal connections, we were early supporters of the Keys Ingredients. Still, it wasn't until October of last year that I really recognized the impact of the Keys Ingredients mission that they had on the people that they supported, because that's when I was diagnosed with invasive lobular breast cancer. At the time, I was already eating healthy. I'd learned so much. I was exercising, probably not as much as I should have, and taking my supplements fairly regularly. Like most people, cancer just wasn't on my radar. I was devastated. I had no appetite. I read and studied at a fevered pitch, throwing out all the plastic cutting boards, getting her well water tested for toxins. And I lost 5 pounds in weeks. Because I knew all the things that could be harmful, I was afraid to eat anything. And then I got a box from the Keys Ingredients. Rich, vegetable-filled minestrone and butternut squash soups. Grain-free muffins with blueberries and apples and walnuts bursting. And delicious food that was gentle on my nervous stomach and nutrient-dense. I knew I was finally feeding all the parts that needed nourishing for the days ahead. The original ultrasound diagnosed the tumor as only 9 millimeters, so we planned a lumpectomy in November, and the Keys immediately booked flights to be with us for the surgery. But a week before the scheduled surgery, an MRI showed a large suspicious area behind the tumor. And just like that, the lumpectomy was off the table, and I was scheduled for a bilateral mastectomy 7 days before Christmas. Well, the November flights had already been booked, so Dr. Keys and Michelle came up and joined my husband and me in our Pennsylvania kitchen. We spent the weekend there, and we laughed until we cried. We had so much fun. And they once again filled my freezer with delicious meals that were packed with healthy ingredients. The mastectomy and the ensuing recovery were rougher than I anticipated. Some of the treatment options seemed as challenging as the cancer had been. And then the mental anguish that I know many in this room have experienced of which doctors, which treatment routes to follow. I'm still navigating all of that. I had reconstruction surgery 3 weeks ago, and despite all that was happening at the kitchen, and despite all that was needed to prepare for this special event, Michelle flew up to be with me, to hold my hand, and to feed me. According to the National Cancer Institute, approximately 2 million people in the US were diagnosed last year with cancer. I'm grateful for the experiences that the last 6 months have brought to me. and I am well aware that so many walk a much harder road after their diagnosis than I have. I'm incredibly appreciative to have been on the receiving end of the mission of the Keys Ingredients. We've been annual donors for several years, but now we're donating monthly. I ask you to join me in donating generously. Take on a monthly sponsorship if you are able, so that those on the board can make informed decisions in allocating the funds, allowing them to plan how best to reach as many people as possible, because the need is not going down. Despite all of the research and the many excellent doctors dedicating their lives to fighting cancer, there has been no significant decrease in the number of cases reported. I've joined several support groups online, and I'd like to share a part of a conversation I read recently between two survivors. Just got back from my CT scan. Looks like it's spread. I find out tomorrow how bad, but there's a mass in my liver. It's only been a year and a month on these meds. Crazy. That must be so shocking to you. Hugs and prayers. They just told me to take the pill, so I did. They told me not to worry about my diet, and boy, I wish I would not have listened. I needed to, and I needed to treat this as lifelong. Then I would have made more drastic changes and not be where I am today. And the response, we are all in this boat that none of us want to be on. When one of us rocks, we all rock. Know that you are not alone. Healing vibes, tight hugs, and prayers are with you. I wish this woman had been blessed with the resources of the Keys Ingredients the way I have. The need is massive. Thank you for supporting the Keys Ingredients. Thank you for getting in the boat with us and being a lifeline for so many who need it.